Welcome back. In the midst of last night's primaries, there was a really stunning moment in a debate ahead of next week's runoff in South Carolina's special Senate primary. Senator Darline Graham gave this answer when asked if Taiwan and the South China Sea are national security issues for the U.S. Take a look.
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, but I do support the military. My brother was in the Air Force for 33 years, so I will do everything I can to support the military. My dad was in the Army. I'm not a polished politician up here. National security is not my thing, not my area of expertise, but I do support the military.
Foreign policy and national security were, of course, two vital issues that Senator Graham's late brother, Lindsey, was known for. Darline Graham faces Congressman Ralph Norman in a primary runoff next Tuesday for Lindsey Graham's Senate seat. For more, I'm joined by the panel, Shelby Talcott, White House correspondent for Semaphore, Steve Ricchetti, former advisor to President Biden and now an Meet the Press contributor, and Ashley Davis, former White House official during the George W. Bush administration and a founding partner of West Front Strategies. Thanks to all of you for being here. I really appreciate it. So, Shelby, what do you make of that moment on the debate stage in South Carolina? We know that these moments can sometimes be significant and sway voters, but voters' top issue is the economy. Do you think this is going to have a monumental impact?
I still think it matters because one of the big questions that voters have about Darline Graham is she experienced enough for a senator's job? And yes, I do think that the economy is top of mind. I think cost of living is top of mind. But as a senator, you need to be able to answer these questions. And this was the exact concern that I think a lot of Republicans had when they heard that she was interested in getting into the race. And I know that plenty of Republicans texted me after, jaws on the floor, that she would give that answer, because it is just something that if you are running for office, you should have an answer to. And the fact that she didn't, I think, is going to give a lot of voters who weren't sure about her already some pause.
Ashley, is that how you see it? I'm sure you got some interesting texts as well after that debate.
Yes. Well, first of all, I don't know how many people were watching the debate, but it is being definitely covered today. I also don't know how many South Carolinians really care about Taiwan right now, but I do agree with you. I still think the race is hers to lose.
You do?
I do. Obviously, there's not any new polling out or anything like that in the elections next week. But here's the question. Do people actually appreciate the fact that she didn't try to lie about it? Like, she just was like, I support the military.
I'm going to give you an honest answer.
And I'm going to give you an honest answer. And if you're sitting at home thinking, you know what, I'm going to fight for her, the president, South Carolina, the president is still very popular. And he's going to come campaign for her, I'm assuming, or do something for her.
There's already an event scheduled.
Yes. So I think that, I don't know, I think it's hers to lose.
Steve Ricchetti, if you were advising her, sure. How nervous would you be today? Again, Ashley makes the important point. President Trump is still going to campaign with her, and she posted, I'm the only candidate being supported by President Trump. I mean, that goes some distance in South Carolina, maybe not all the way.
South Carolina and amongst Republican voters. It's interesting, those national security issues actually intersect directly with the cost of goods, the price of things, enormous effects on the economy. A national security question, encompasses Iran. It encompasses Putin's invasion of Ukraine. I can tell you it had an effect on gas prices in 22 and 23 in my experience in the White House. So the translation of I just don't focus on or think about national security issues is a pretty rough translation to overcome, I think, just because it has this effect. But I will say something contrarian here.
And the military is big in South Carolina.
Enormously important. I do think there are points for being authentic and being honest. And I actually think in some ways it was revealing in some ways, but it was also real. And I actually think in politics there's something to be said for real authenticity. And I think we'll see how this turns out.
Exactly.
But I think you've got a real point there.
It's one of the arguments that Trump makes, that he's being authentic, and that voters, when you talk to them, say that's part of what they like about him. Here's what she said earlier this month on the Trey Gowdy podcast. Shelby, I'll get your reaction.
Lindsey was probably much more focused on national security. And I know that's important, but I'll probably be focused more on affordability, what matters to the families in South Carolina, the struggling families, because I know what it's like to struggle. Health care, the price of groceries.
Shelby, picking up on Steve's point, that she's saying this is what she cares about. She's a mom and she's speaking, I think some voters would think authentically.
Yeah, having talked to a lot of voters over the years, and this year in particular, this is a stronger answer than the one she gave last night. Granted, she was being directly asked about a specific foreign policy aspect last night, so it's a little bit different. But I do think that kind of an answer will really resonate with voters because, as we've seen, poll after poll after poll shows, voters are acutely focused on the economy, on cost of living this term, and it's something that the Republicans have struggled with, in part because the president is so focused on things like foreign policy. So if she's able to answer the questions, the foreign policy questions in that way, and sort of shift the focus in a way that I don't think she did successfully last night, it might be a different story.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.